Hey everyone, welcome to a special call with Cynthia featuring the GodSpark. And I'm going to interview her to teach you all and inspire you to really grasp on and embrace this reality. Thank you, Cynthia, for coming on and spending time with me today.
Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful Tracy. I love those signs behind you. Just love.
Yeah, at
Just
the end of
get
the
that.
day.
You get this. You get this. You do. And my favorite is beautiful girl with your wonderful doll. That is Xena Warrior Princess. Or
No, that's Wonder
no,
Woman.
Wonder Woman. Okay. Wonder Woman. Sorry. Beautiful. You are Wonder Woman. You're amazing. And you can do amazing things. That's right. I love that. All of those motivations behind you are so important. Motivation is important. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about. The God spark is motivation. Motivation. I want to be motivation. I want to motivate people. Okay. And we have a lot of new members that are coming in that have joined that haven't heard this discussion from me about GodSpark. Beautiful GodSpark. What is the GodSpark? Why do we use that word? Where does it come from? Here's where it comes from. We're deriving frequencies because everything is frequency. Everything is frequency, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, mental, everything going on around us is frequency. This chair I'm sitting in is frequency. This chair literally is made of energy. It's here by agreement. This chair is here by agreement, and I'm enjoying sitting on it right now. And so,
Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, when everything's an atom and atoms are nothing but energy, I mean, 99.9%, then yeah, everything is
yeah,
frequency.
that's right. Absolutely. And I'm not a scientist, but I love scientists. I know a lot of scientists. I know a lot of engineers, physicists, and I had the opportunity when in my younger days, I was one of the first women that went to work. I was one of four women that were hired for an international company in 1980 to sell technology, high vacuum systems to semiconductor manufacturers. And also, what was very big in those days were particle accelerators. Particle accelerators, have you heard that term before?
Oh, what is that?
A particle accelerator were those tunnels that would go a mile and a half, 3 miles. They were huge, and the tunnel was depending on how big it was. Some of them were 5 feet around, some of them were 15 feet around. What happened is this tunnel had to be free of all environment, no air, no anything. It had to be a vacuum environment because they would test material in these. And so there were magnets around this circumference, the magnets. So you have a free environment, and a magnet would cause the whatever molecule that was being tested to spin. And it would rotate and spin as it was moving through because it was shot through this tunnel. And what happens is with the force, with the distance, with the speed, as it would accelerate with the magnets, in a vacuum environment, it would break apart. And as this material, whatever material it was being tested, would break apart, ultimately you would come to the very smallest. What's it made up of? What is it made up of? The very smallest, um, below a speck, uh,
Particles, right? Isn't that
smaller than a particle, nanoparticle, smaller. And so what happened is when you get to the very end, at least they thought they had the end. That was what they were looking for. What was at the end? That's what they're trying to determine. How quickly would it break up? What would come off of it? And where did it end up? And so they looked at various different things that were tested in these particle accelerators. And so the length of the particle accelerator, they found out they had to build longer. They had to build wider. They had to make the test in different ways. And that's why there are different particle accelerators that were built all around the US. We had one here, in fact, in Waxahachie that they started to build, and they actually stopped it. They did a lot of work on it, spent a lot of money, and then stopped it. That was back in, I think early 90s that was going on. Maybe, yeah, late 80s. Long time ago. Anyway, so this story, GodSpark, takes place for me in two facilities, which are in your area in Northern California. And that is the Lawrence Livermore Particle Accelerator and the Stanford Linear Accelerator, SLAC. So the Lawrence Livermore facility was one of the first ones that I visited, and it's actually where I met the engineering manager who told me all about what the GodSpark was. That was in 1982. 82.
Wow.
So, I've had the blessing of been introduced to the GodSpark since 82, and that's a big, big blessing for me. And I'm going to share it with you and everybody here. What it is this is what was discovered after test after test after test after test. They discovered that they could not let any people watch that test. They could not let any people, they had little peepholes. You could look to see what was going on in there. And if there was no test going, you could look to see. But what I found out, because there was a test running one time I was there, and I said, well, let me go see what's going on. He goes, no, 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 you can't. I said, why not? And he said, because we've discovered that if people are watching, their thoughts can actually affect the result. So in other words, he said, if you are having a thought that it's going to turn in a certain direction, it will. When you get to the very end and you've got nothing left but the GodSpark, we call it the GodSpark, he said, it's going to go wherever you direct it. I said, what? I said, you mean that every cell, everything tested ends up with a GodSpark? He said, yes, it does. I said,
wow.
Well, that must mean that everything has GodSpark. He said, yes, it does. He said, and that's a wonderful, wonderful reality here for everybody to learn. He said, so you can wait and look, but not now. And it was so funny. There were a few people around when that conversation was taking place, and everybody started laughing and telling me about how they were able to pervert the test. And they did it on purpose for a while because
Well,
they would make the God spark fall. They would make it stop and hover in midstream. They would make it do figure eight. They were able to manipulate in a way that just delighted them. And they love to share that story with me, the God spark. When
That's
I realized it is, isn't it? 1982. Imagine what a responsibility that is, because if we honor and recognize that every cell follows instruction ultimately, then we have to be very careful about what our instructions are.
Mm-hmm.
See? That was back in the day when I pursued early spiritual, training and with focus and intention, driving frequencies.
What came first, your spiritual training or the GodSpark realization?
Well, that's a good question, because I'll tell you what, I love this. I don't think I've shared this with you, Tracy. When I was 19 years old, I took a class on how to. It was a school of metaphysics at the time. It was in the area where I lived, outside of Chicago. The School of Metaphysics. Now they're the College of Metaphysics. They've graduated, or the university. I don't know, but anyway, at that time they were just a school. And there was a class that we could take, which was meditate to be like Jesus. Meditate to be like Jesus. I was 19 years old. And so that was my first introduction on meditation. And we would focus on the third eye right here with the candle flame and sit in front of a candle flame. I was 19. And that was where I first learned how to clear my thoughts and be very focused in thinking and everything. And that was a really good discipline. I went through 2 classes there with that and a lot of meditation that went into that. And it was really amazing, the outcome of that. But about halfway through my first class, I had a vision. And that vision was me today. Imagine that. I saw
Wow.
myself today in the life I have today and loved, loved, loved where I was. So there I was 19 and I knew I was 60 something and I knew I was older, but by golly, I was beautiful and I loved my life. There I was at 19 to see that beautiful vision. And so yeah, spirituality came first because that was the start of everything. That was a big confidence boost because I knew my life was going to be great. And so,
Well, that would continue your spurring and taking action, right? Knowing.
yeah.
But the
Mhm.
crazy thing for me is I believe that, our entire beings, but the weird thing is like that this tube of lipstick would have the God spark in it as well. Everything.
The tube of lipstick has the God spark that you give it.
Oh,
Okay. Because it's
oh,
not animated by your, like the God spark that's moving through the particle accelerator. It's breaking up, breaking up, breaking up till it gets to the end. And then what it does at the end is directed by those who are watching. Now, if they're not watching, that's how the test completes. And then they're able to determine properties of it and do testing of it. How long does it take to get here and so forth like that? What does it do? How long does it run? Whatever kind of test they want to take to gather the minutia. But no, it's you and your direction and your focus with intention that drives the God spark of that lipstick.
okay. Well, thank you for the clarification on that
Yeah,
because that was the
good.
hard concept for me to grasp is that,
Hmm.
this would have it. But I guess like all things, if you love it and, it's going to have a different energy than it would if you didn't love it.
Right, right. Well, like I said, the chair that I'm sitting on right now is a very comfortable chair, and I'm loving this chair. And this chair has no intention whatsoever other than it appreciates being loved. So,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Okay, there you
that's
go.
fabulous. So what
Good,
can
good
we
clarity.
do? What action can we take as individuals to increase our not only awareness, but our utilization of how we can affect the God spark around us?
Well, and I'll tell you, it's I started out this year. We've got some beautiful slides that we're going to show here right now. And the first one is 2023, the golden year of me, right? 2023, the golden year of me. We have talked about this and talked about this, and right. How many times
Yeah.
have we gone into this discussion here on the calls and uh, in in um, in private too, because it's a concept that a lot of people were very surprised about. The golden year of me. Well, that's how is that in service? We're a nonprofit organization in service to humanity. We're healing the world. Our focus is on healing and helping people. But you know who's stepping in, who's jumping into this project first, are those who want to be a part of a project just like this. Those who validate and honor this project are those who dreamt of this kind of a project all their lives. It's people that are like you and me, Tracy, who have given, 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 who do not stop to think about caring for ourselves. And as a result, as we get older, what happens is that it becomes unimportant to take care of ourselves. It becomes something that is, I'm old. What can I do about it? Attitude. It is, well, I've got to do this and this first. Because they always say is if you want something done, give it to someone who's busy. You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can relate to that, can't we?
Yeah, we can relate to that. It's easy. We've got lots of plates juggling, and yeah, one more, we'll get it done right away. We'll knock it out of the park, and we always do. Here's the thing. I want people to stop right now and recognize that this year is the launch of the great shift. This year is not over yet. This year has been a shift. It's been beautiful. We have started this year with this theme of 2023, the golden year of me. Many people have their devices. Many people have started with this. We hear the stories about this all the time, right? You do, I do, you do more than I do because you're making all these recordings that I love to listen to. And people are getting this device and they're just, wow, it's getting them to stop and pause. That stop and pause is what's important. Take a minute and think about how beautiful life is for you. What can we do to honor your ability, Tracy, to create the life you desire? What can you do to recognize your I am? I love that. I am. Jesus said, the Son of Man, I am. It means so much. I am. I am God in every cell. I am carrying and honoring God in every cell of my body with every thought, word, and deed. How can we integrate that? How can we validate that? That's the big theme of 2023 because we have to honor the beautiful self you are. Generate that GodSpark reality. It's good, isn't it?
It needs to be a daily practice that's really focused on and brought to mind to remember, as like any other new habit, just making it a priority because we do make time for the things that are the most important to us. And that's a really good thing to be aware of.
It's really good. How are you aware of it? First thing is the mental chatter going on in your brain? Is there chatter in your brain? I don't have chatter because I went through early days of meditation. And when you meditate, that clears the chatter. You don't have chatter anymore. Do you have chatter in your brain?
You know what? That's a great question. Rarely, but once in a while, something happens, and something happened to happen yesterday that created that. And I kept working on these key principles, which I love key, you know that. And it was like, stop. And then I remember Christine saying, be your authentic self. Stop being so stoic. And I love Christine as well. But it's like, so now I'm like, okay, well, I have to reframe what happened yesterday so I can be my authentic self. So it's interesting that you asked that. But usually I live in joy because my life is good. I'm happy and I do things to make me happier every day. And
well, that's a wonderful segue for us here, dear one, because look, what you just did is you caught the reverberation of what happened. So when you have a moment that creates stress, anxiety, changes your wave. We have our whole body is a wave. If we're at calm, if we're peaceful, it's strong, it's up and down evenly. When we have that discord, when we have that strike against our, emotional being, we go like this. It's
yeah,
it's jingled. It's jangled. It's not calm. We've got to get back to the calm. There's a way to get back to the calm, and that is to direct your God spark. Okay. And that is by first forgiving yourself. Remember 2023, the golden year of me. You got to forgive yourself. And then say, what could we have done? What could I have done differently? And generally what it is taking responsibility, personal responsibility for whatever happened. That's the first step, because if you're a victim, That's going to continue. Victimhood continues the uneven stress because I can't help it. I'm caught. I'll give you an example. Okay, here's a good one. I told you, I said on the group call, I love candy corn. You know how long it's been since I've eaten candy corn? And I fell into this same trap everybody does. Well, I've got my device. This beautiful thing. I can eat candy corn. It'll handle it. No, it didn't handle it. And which is worse because this system of mine isn't used to it. And so as a result, I got phlegmy, I got sneezing, I got a headache. I felt like I had a little fever. I had body ache everywhere, body ache in my back. Oh my gosh. I thought, okay, this is terrible. It's not flu. It's definitely not CV, whatever. What it was candy corn. And so I said, okay, thank you for that momentary enjoyment. It wasn't that fun. I won't do it again. So,
That's hilarious.
it is hilarious. And then I said, thank you for reminding me. And it's just not good for us. And maybe when we get the replicator, I can find candy corn that'll be good.
Calorie free, sugar free, just
I know, light candy corn. How about that? Light candy corn.
I need to do that for milk duds. I love milk duds, but I don't dare eat them.
No, all of that stuff. Chocolate nonpareils. Oh, I used to love those. I mean, whatever that we used to eat when we were kids, we cannot eat now. And the reality is we couldn't eat them when we were kids. We just didn't know it.
Exactly.
Back in the day. So anyway, here we are back to this beautiful GodSpark. When you allow yourself to be responsible, when you forgive yourself in a responsible way, you can let go. And then the reverberation slowly calms down. And I got another story for you. Here it is how do you turn off this up and down frantic to strong up and down wave? How do you do that? Got an idea?
I would do breath work. Because I would call it like it's not coherent when you're in that stress mode. And so to bring back some coherence, I like doing breath work. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. The other thing I do personally is Ho'oponopono. And
I love that.
is
Yeah, see, that's good. That's for me, that's it. Say it for everybody what it is.
Ho'oponopono, the way I do it, I did a course on it maybe 4 years ago. It's I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And there was a Dr. Len, who he went to a hospital. Or actually, he did this remotely, but there was a hospital in Hawaii that had all of these patients that the staff were afraid of. And I can't remember, they were like mentally challenged, but they were violent. And I believe it was in a prison, to be honest. And so he was able to use these techniques to calm these prisoners at a distance so that the staff were no longer afraid. They were able to just really calm them. And, it's just visualizing something or someone who you want to give this to. And it would be like, I love you because we're called to love always. I'm sorry for whatever responsibility I have in what happened to you, because if we think about the butterfly effect, there's always something. And I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me as I, accept my apology. And then thank you for that forgiveness. And that practice is documented to have major benefits to the people who apply it. But now it's just part of me subconsciously. And so whenever I'm feeling any stress, I use that very often.
That's a wonderful, wonderful reminder. Really, really fabulous. Thank you. And that's good. That's driving frequencies with focus and intention. And the strongest, most powerful frequency is love. Always love.
Yep. See?
Love. That's right.
Love
With
and be
focus.
loved.
with
Oh,
focus and intention. Can you be loved is the big question.
yeah,
Do you love yourself?
I do.
I know you're very, very good for yourself. Uh, Many people don't. And 2023, the golden year of me, is about how to love yourself, especially people that have been abused. How do you love yourself? And so, we've created all of these wonderful discussions here for people to help with that, how to manage driving frequencies with focus and intention. So that's that. The uh, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Is a up, down, wonderful wave. It's a very strong, calm wave. And you can just repeat it and repeat it until you get calm inside and just have the image of whoever it is that you're thinking about as it's going out. And think about them receiving. They're receiving. They're receiving. They're receiving. They're receiving. Um, this is beautiful. And this is how we gather all of our precious thoughts and create it into your beautiful statement, your Jing jar. Your Jing jar. I love that you had that Jing jar. Explain what that Jing jar is.
So essentially, we have inside of our being, it's called Jing. And it's like, imagine it's like a savings account. And there's things that we do or thoughts that we think or, feelings that we feel that add Jing into it. And that's energy. It's life force energy. And so then there's things that we do that remove life force energy out of our Jing jar. It's like a savings account. And when that is empty, you are dead. So we want to keep filling it up every day. And so if it's like getting low on energy, then you get sick, right? So you need to practice things that add in good, loving energy. And loving yourself is one of the things that helps you. And something I learned years ago in yoga was looking at yourself in the mirror, and your eyes are a window to the soul, and really loving yourself, that inner child that is still there, that God spark, actually, which is a new concept since I've met you. But if we imagine that we are a piece of God and we love God, then how can we not love ourselves as well?
That's right. That's right. And that's how you add to your Jing.
That's
Your
right.
Jing jar accrues with those kind of thoughts and contemplations and efforts. Exactly. That's the focus and intention on driving frequencies in every cell of your body. I love that. And accrue. We're coming into Thanksgiving here. This video is going to be continuing and go on, and hopefully, a lot of people will enjoy it. But here we are in Thanksgiving, and one way to add to your Jing jar and drive your God spark is with thankfulness and giving thanks for everybody and everything and every action and all that you are and all that your life is and all that those around you bring to you. And I want to give thanks for you, beautiful Tracy.
Aw,
Thank you so
thank you.
much. Thank you
And I'm
so
so
much.
thankful for you. I mean, the way that I came as part of your team was a God thing. And there's no other way to explain it because I wasn't looking. And we just had that great conversation. And the next day you called me up, and I'm just like, okay, this is a God thing. This is a blessing that I could have never even asked for. So thank you. I appreciate you so much. Your kindness and your love for everyone, your grace of how you handle stress. I admire you so much. And I love learning from you too, Cynthia. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, beautiful one. Thank you so much. And I I have my moments. You'll know about that. But anyway, I have to forgive myself for that too. And thankfully for me, I do my own ho'opono every chance I get because we all benefit from uh, I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. We all benefit from that. I mean, throughout our lives. It's such a great idea that you brought that in. There is a God spark. You are a God spark, and we're driving frequencies here with focus and intention every day. And let me just say this here. Why do we have this? Why did you want to have this call, Tracy?
Because I want to help the members improve their lives. And I feel like this is an important conversation. And I feel like this is foundational to all other things.
It is 100% foundation. I love that. That's so beautiful because uh, uh, this is carrying us with focus and intention into the beautiful future that we're creating. And we are creating a masterpiece here that has never been seen before. History in the making. We've all been abused. We've all been abused in different ways. We've been abused through our jobs. We've been abused with our parents, mostly. We've been abused with our family dynamics. We've been abused with our education school system. We've been abused with our government. We've been abused too many times. When you're abused, it's like this. It's like the Jing jar. You have boulders of pain, and the more abuse you get, the less room there is for any kind of Jing.
Mm.
See? And all you can do is throw it off, throw off those boulders. You got to throw it off. And that means it's coming at you. See? And until you find a way to clear that, what we really are trying to do is help people get space because they're too full of pain, which is emotional. And one of the things that this beautiful device does is it creates space for the quantum field moving. It really does. And this beautiful space gives us the opportunity to then have a different thought. So many people are having different thoughts. They don't even know it's different. It just is, that's a good idea. Yeah, I can do that. But old habits die hard. And old habits die hard
Means
it's really, really a wonderful theme that we have here, driving frequencies with focus and intention. Focus and intention and application. I got the job because of the spiritual application and focus that I had and the courage that I had to go out and be, as I said, one of the first women that, that glass ceiling was real when I jumped out there. They didn't have women. They had to hire minorities or women in that year, 1980. It was a big, big push that President Jimmy Carter had implemented. And then when they started and they put teeth in the EEOC ruling, it was the opportunity for me. And I was blessed to be one of the first women out there as a sales engineer selling technology in a man's world. There were 70 men in this global corporation. I was one of 4 women that were hired right in a window of time, all 4 of us. And but it was the spiritual training that I had that got me to that point and gave me that opportunity to be out there jumping into the world. But life is all about learning, learning, learning. It's been a lot of courses, and we talk about this a lot for classes for people. What do we want to bring? How do we want to help people? Help people with understanding what are tricks we can use to recognize what's going on with us. When are we not following and using our GodSpark principle? When are we not driving frequencies with focus and intention? How can we jump outside of autopilot knee jerk? These are the things that cause sickness and illness. I mean, look with me with my candy corn, we're still learning. And we just can't be letting any of these little challenges cause any kind of a long-term detriment to us. It's not necessary. Right?
And I love that you said we're still learning, because I believe that if you're not growing, you're dying. And so
Yeah,
we want to keep learning.
that's
Nothing
right.
in life stays stagnant. So you want to be ahead of it.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, beautiful one. Wonderful
Thank,
conversation.
thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you for making this QHS project fly. This valorous admin team, thank you. The Key community welcomes you. Thank you for making your home QHS healthy and happy. Thank you for helping us place QH centers all around the world. Together, hand in hand, we make miracles happen. QuantumHealingSystems.org. Thank you.